Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a sweet girl named Little Red Riding Hood. She got her name from the red hooded cloak her grandmother had given her. Every morning, she baked fresh bread with her mother, and in the afternoons, she helped the elderly in the village. One day, her mother prepared a basket full of food for her to take to her sick grandmother. "Take this food to your grandmother and cheer her up," her mother said. "But stay on the forest path and don't talk to anyone." Little Red Riding Hood listened to her mother's advice and set off. As she walked through the forest, she saw a field full of flowers. She wanted to pick a few flowers to cheer up her grandmother. While picking the flowers, she sang beautiful songs. However, someone in the depths of the forest was watching her, a hungry wolf. The wolf watched Little Red Riding Hood's innocent and cheerful demeanor and devised a cunning plan. Approaching her, he asked in a sweet voice, "Hello, little girl, where are you going?" Without thinking of any danger, Little Red Riding Hood replied, "I'm taking food to my grandmother, she's sick." The wolf tricked her by saying he knew a faster way and took a shortcut to the grandmother's house. When he arrived, he knocked on the door. The old woman, unaware of the danger behind the door, called out, "Who is it?" The wolf, imitating Little Red Riding Hood's voice, said, "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood." As soon as the grandmother opened the door, the wolf grabbed her and locked her in the closet. Then he put on the grandmother's clothes and lay down in the bed. After a while, Little Red Riding Hood reached her grandmother's house. She knocked on the door and went inside. The figure lying in her grandmother's bed seemed a bit strange to her. "Grandmother, what big ears you have," she said. The wolf replied, "The better to hear you with, my dear." "Grandmother, what big eyes you have," she continued. The wolf again replied, "The better to see you with, my dear." Finally, she said, "Grandmother, what big teeth you have." At that moment, the wolf could no longer contain himself and shouted, "The better to eat you with," and lunged at Little Red Riding Hood. Just then, a woodcutter passing by the village heard the noise inside the house. He broke down the door and struggled with the wolf. In the end, he subdued the wolf and rescued the grandmother and Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood learned a valuable lesson from this experience. She decided never to talk to strangers in the forest again and to always listen to her mother's advice. Grateful, she and her grandmother thanked the woodcutter and happily returned home. From then on, Little Red Riding Hood continued to live her life, always remembering the importance of being careful.